Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Taylor. This is the first part in a series of two videos that I wanted to do, just kind of talking about my experience applying for law school. So, as you might know if you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever, I applied to law school this past fall. So I figured it would be good to do a nice little series of videos kind of as an update on that. So the first one is just kind of a general kind of like commentary on things that happened, like things I didn't expect, advice, blah, blah, all that good stuff. And the second part is going to be kind of a more in-depth breakdown of where I applied, what the actual timeline was, all that good stuff, and you know what the final decision was. So let's start with that part one right now. Number one, the timeline is a mess. There is really not a consistent, so I applied to 9 schools, which is a lot, and I applied to all 9 of them around the same time period. Scratch that, I applied to 12 schools, which is even more of a lot. The time period it took to hear back from people was all over the place. Some schools responded like less than a month later, and others took like 3, 4, 5 months to answer. So I think kind of, and they were the same answers. Like I got the same answers from both schools, and they took 2 very, very different amounts of time to respond. And then hearing about scholarships also took wildly expansive, different amounts of time. So the timeline is not neat. Like there is not like most schools, if you apply this time, you'll hear right here. It's whenever. The moral of the story there is just like, don't freak out if you haven't heard back from a school and convince yourself that it means that it's an automatic no. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into applications that I don't even understand. But yeah, the timeline's a mess. Apply early, but you know, just accept that you're gonna be sitting on that for a while. The second part of that is, so anything you read, anything you get from advice, like if you like actually like talk to like law school people, one of the big things is something like about typos and about making mistakes on your application and how that's, you know, horrible and a death sentence and all of that good stuff. Here to say that no, don't stress out quite that much. Proofreading is obviously great. Like proofread your stuff. Don't just blindly send things. However, this is my story in that I was working on like one of my later applications. I think I had already submitted 9 out of my 12, and I noticed a typo on my personal statement. So that was 9 schools that had already gotten a personal statement with a typo. And you know what? I emailed the schools, emailed an updated personal statement with that corrected version. Most of them took it, no problem, and it had 0 effect on my outcomes. So, moral of the story, if you make a little mistake, do not panic. It is not the absolute end of the world. Just do what you can to fix it. Going off of that, number 3 is do not believe everything you hear on the internet. And that is very ironic considering you are watching a video about advice given to you by someone on the internet. There are a ton of people on the internet, some of whom know what they're talking about and some of whom absolutely not. And there's no solid way to vet people, especially on those like random forums about law school applications and all that good stuff. They have them for like college too, they have them for everything. Don't believe everything you read. Don't believe that if some person on the internet tells you that you can't get into this school with this score, or anything like that. Like that's, unless they work for that admissions office, they have no idea how this works. So just, that's not the thing to believe. Like don't trust random people on the internet. And don't stress not necessarily don't trust, I take that back. don't trust people on the internet. Just take everything with a grain of salt and understand that they're usually not the expert. That being said, number 4, the admissions offices are your friend. So I've had, in general, really positive experiences every time that I kind of needed something resolved, whether it be, you know, that stupid typo, to any questions about the process, talking about scholarship things, anything that I needed. Admissions offices are so usually helpful and willing to, at the very least, talk to you. And if you want like solid information, Google is not going to be where you find it, but an admissions office is. Talking to an admissions officer, going to any sort of events, and getting to know people that work in the admissions offices so that later on you can ask a question or anything and not be completely coming out of nowhere. All of that is super, super helpful and will put you in a good place when you are trying to deal with things later down the line. So yeah, befriend those admissions office people. They're sweethearts. There's a cat on my lap. This is Ollivander. And yeah, that's kind of it for this part 1 of this video. I hope that if you are applying to law school soon, you found it helpful, or just, you know, found it useful for me to tell you to stop believing random people on the internet. I don't know. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, I also do all sorts of fitnessy, fun, lifestyle stuff too, so you can hit that subscribe button down below. And I will see you guys next week for next week's video. Bye, guys.